There we go. It's recording. And Brian, over to you.
Vinaka Shane, Vinaka to members of the media and other guests joining us for what is indeed a historic occasion. We've made a lot of announcements over the last several months in terms of our playing group, in terms of commercial arrangements, a whole range of things. But today is probably the biggest. And I'm delighted to announce the captain of the Fijian Drua has been selected by Coach Mick Byrne and the wider coaching and support team. And the captain, as you'll see on screen, is Nemani Nagusa. Nemani is very well known to all Fijians as a former Fijian Sevens and still current, I guess, flying Fijian. I hope he will be towards after the Drua gets going. But he's got a number of caps to his name. He's an outstanding individual, an outstanding choice. And we congratulate him, have great confidence in his capacity to lead this team. And we can't wait for running onto the field for the first time in less than 10 days for a trial and our first match on the 18th of February. So on that note, congratulations to Nemani, and I'll pass over to Coach Mick Byrne to add some further comments.
Vinaka, Brian, Pula Vinaka, everybody. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for the Fijian Drua today to take another step forward in our growth. And it's a great honour to have announced to the team yesterday that Nemani is their captain. You know, for us, it became a very easy choice once we came into camp, and we saw the work ethic and the leadership that Nemani displays just as a natural leader. For me, as a coach, it's always great to know your right-hand man is on board with everything we're trying to do. And, you know, he's been keeping us honest as a management group right from day one. So that's been a great sign as well. And in today's game, our captain is a vital leader for us, not just by title, but the way we operate as a group. We need to be working communication both ways. We need to have honest conversations. And when you've got a guy with the quality of Nemani, that becomes a very easy task. So, you know, it's great. It's a great honour for me as the head coach to have announced that yesterday, and to see the reaction of the players was outstanding. And you know, again, we're just looking forward to a great year. And you know, for me, I know he's on my left here, but to have my right hand man, Nemani, is an awesome opportunity for us to grow.
All right, Captain.
Yeah, just first of all, just thank the coach and management for believing in me and giving me this opportunity to lead the first ever Fijian Super Rugby side to the competition this year. I'm very grateful, and I'm honored to be given the role to captain the Fiji Drua side. Also thankful for the people who've been there for me since day one, my families. I thank God for leading me through. I've been through a lot as a player, as a individual, but I thank God for leading me through all those hard times I've been through, and to be given this opportunity, it's an honor, and I also know that it carries a lot of responsibility, and with the boys' help, I know we'll do well in the competition ahead. Naka.
All right. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, you are welcome to ask a question of Mick or Nemani or even Brian. So please go ahead, raise your hand. There's a little bit of a technical thing I'm trying to do here. But please go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question. We usually just has one. It takes one to start, and then go ahead, FBC.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Nemani, on the appointment, and also to Mick Byrne on your preparation for the first round of Super Rugby. Just a question to Nemani on I know you'll be leading a very young team, and how is preparation so far, especially you taking the leading role into this big role, leading the team into the first ever Super Rugby Pacific?
Yep. Preparation has been good. We had a tough 6 weeks before the break, and our boys are really doing well in training. Yes, so we have a young side, but the talent is there. I know with the right coaching, they'll do really well in the competition. That's yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Do you have a follow-up? Lucy? No? All right.
No, Greg Clark here. Congratulations, Nemani. You've been under the leadership of Jerry Tuwai for some time. So what did he teach you? And is this something you've always aspired, captaincy?
I was given the role way back for the Fiji Warriors and also for Fiji Sevens. So I think it's just the coaches, they've seen something in me, and to lead the guys to tournaments and also win tournaments. So yeah, for me it's just not really being something else, just being me and just being a leader and leading the boys where we want to be as a team.
And Mick, because it's a young team, have you been able to put a good leadership, an experienced leadership group together to help Nemani on and off the field?
Yeah, for sure. The leadership group is a little mixed around experience, so that we can relate with all the groups that are in there with our young guys as well. And we've got some really good potential leaders coming through in that area. So just to help with the feedback that we want to receive from our players as we're learning, it's great to be able to have peers being able to speak to their peers. So we've got leaders in that area, and they're so far, and I say so far with promise for the future, it's been excellent. You know, the work we've been able to do in a short period of time as a leadership group has been great, and I look forward to it. Just growing as we go through the season.
Mick, before we head off, if I may throw a question to the floor, what's your selection process or your thought process around selecting a team captain? What are the qualities you sort of look for?
Well, I think we sort of, I think the thing for me as a group, we said about not wanting to look for qualities. We just thought that they would come out naturally. And so we just waited and let the season unfold, and especially pre-season, because, you know, Nemani said, probably understated how hard it was, because a lot of the boys had come off the islands and hadn't done much for 8-9 months. So that was a big challenge. And, you know, we've had an enormous turnaround in our fitness levels and strength levels. To get there is hard work, and your leaders will naturally stand up under those environments. So it was really a matter of seeing how everyone dealt with the adversity of what we did before Christmas. And, you know, there was just, every time we turned around, there was one guy out the front bringing the others with him, and that was Nemani. And the conversations we've had, the process, you know, I don't want to discount the selection of a captain, but it really did run its own course in the case of Nemani.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, we have a hands up. Is that Mike? Is that you? So it's hard to tell without the names on screen, but go ahead, Mike.
Congratulations to Mr. Nagusa. My question is just basically who might be his assistant, Mr. Mick? Who will assist Nemani as the vice captain?
Yeah, we've got, at the moment, it's a good question. At the moment, we've got a number of players that we're looking at. The process may be that each game we'll have a couple of people to assist him in each game. We've got a big squad, and probably our leadership group will be driving a lot of the on and off field leadership through the season. And with each game, we'll probably be selective around who our vice captains will be, because obviously during games they may have to step up to the captaincy. So we're in the process of working through that at the moment. We've got a good little leadership group going, and And right now they'll be our on-field and off-field support to Nemani, and we'll continue to work with the players. It's a brand new group. I mean, I think we're in our 9th week together, so we're growing and learning all about each other, and it's an exciting opportunity.
Thank you so much for that. That's from me, Shane.
Thanks, Mike. Next question, please. Yep, so you're back. Go ahead.
Just a question for Coach. How are the players' individual performance leading up to as you move on to the kickoff for the Super Rugby Pacific?
Yeah, individually, there's been some, enormous growth in our conditioning and strength. We've done a lot of work. What I've really been impressed with is the ability for our players to bounce back the next day. A lot of these players haven't been involved in full-time professional programs, and one of the key things there is when you first come into a professional program, suddenly you're into your 2nd or 3rd week, and it's like, what, we're going again the next day, and every day our players have turned up. They've been ready to go mentally. They've been switched on, and obviously the on-field leadership before every training, the players, the leaders chat to the players about what it's going to take to be a professional rugby player, and every single player is brought into that process. And we've been, since Christmas, we've spent a lot more time on our game plan and the way we want to play, and the players have really taken to that too. So it's exciting, the growth we've had in a short period of time, and we just want to keep continuing to get better every day.
Okay. Joe.
Boleh sir, and congratulations to Nemani. My question is, what if the Highlanders game does not eventuate? If the Fiji's no spectator rule is extended, and what other games are you looking to bring to Fiji?
Well, I might just throw to Brian for that. If that's okay, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for that question. We announced on Monday of this week that we could not bring the Waratahs match on the 1st of April as we had originally intended. And instead, we've committed the match against the Highlanders on April the 30th, and that's bought us an extra month to see the no spectator rules lifted. We're confident and we're hopeful that they will, but we've of course got to have a fallback if they're not, and we've got a fallback in place. But we're very committed to bringing the Highlanders to Fiji, if at all possible, on April 30th.
Joe, does that take care of your? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Naka, Ramika, please go ahead.
Thank you. Just a question to the coach. So the trial match, the first trial match is just coming close. So what are some of the selection process that you are going to take in order to select the players for the first trial match? And my second question is, when are you going to name the team for the first trial match?
Yeah, I think the trial match is a little bit different to a normal game where we're in we're just chatting with the Western Force at the moment about the number of players. They're going to come over. They're playing the Reds after us, so they're going to bring a rather large squad, and it may be that we end up going with 28 to 30 players that we can rotate through that day. So what we'll look at is the players that are fit and haven't been carrying injuries. We've had a couple of players that have been carrying a little bit of an injury, as we know, and so they won't be available. But for a squad of 30, most of the players will make that squad, and then we'll look at how we work with that squad, whether we rotate players in and out of positions, or we give players 20 minutes or 30 minutes each. We haven't made that decision yet, but the first game against the Western Force, there'll be a squad rather than a team, and we'll go out and we're obviously, our fittest players will do that. We don't want to put any players at risk that are a little bit underdone. Some players have come into the program a little bit later than others, so we're going to manage all that so that every player that goes out there Sunday week is fully fit and raring to go.
Some of these trial matches, like you can even have like 3 or 4 different sections of the match, like not halves, but like.
Yeah, and up here, like yesterday, was pelting down rain. The day before was like we had to walk in the shade. It was that hot. So, you know, if we're playing Sunday afternoon here, it could be really, really hot. So we could do 420s. But yeah, I think it's a great question. But for us, it's a little bit open ended. We're going to take a squad, and we'll give every available player an opportunity to get out there and have a go at their first game.
While we line up the next question, Nemani, let me just throw it to you for the floor. Growing up watching Super Rugby, what are some of the players you were looking up to, admiring, and really following? Maybe Fijian players, maybe Aussies and New Zealanders.
My team was Crusaders, was growing up in Fiji, and
of course,
the team that the player that I look up to the most was none other than Richie McCaw. Just admire the way he plays and the way he leads his team every game. Gives his 100% every time, and yeah, it's something that has been my mentor for since then till now. Yeah.
Hey, Naka. Mike, you had another question.
Yeah, I asked Mr. Thorburn earlier on in the week in Suva, and I asked the coach to if he can elaborate on it a bit. What are some of the response from gatherings from other teams? You just mentioned that we are a new team, unknowns. A lot of teams out there, they know how Fijians play. And what are like teams like Crusaders, the Chiefs? These are big boys in Super Rugby. What are some of the gatherings you've got from them on how they look at us?
So I think the question is, what's some of the intelligence you have of how other teams are prepared for us?
Yeah.
Yes.
At this stage, and I'm not deflecting away from the answer on that. At this stage, it's early to know what other teams are thinking about us. I hope they're thinking about us like we're thinking about them, and they are thinking about us and doing some homework. That would be great. But you know, for us, we know that we've got some really good benchmarks in those Super Rugby teams and what they've done over the last couple of years. We're building up a game plan that we know we need to be fitter and stronger to play Super Rugby, and you know, I'm hoping that there is some questions unanswered when they start looking at us and how they're going to and how they feel about us. But the biggest thing about that is how we present ourselves and how we prepare ourselves. And if we want people to be asking questions about us, we have to step up and we have to perform and display the qualities that we go out to display first up. So, you know, in a short answer, without deflecting away from what the question is, that we're going to really be focusing on making sure that we present ourselves in the best possible way when we get on the field over the next couple of weeks, and then maybe we can start, you know, posing some questions to our opposition.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Next question, please. Is there any of the Aussie folks want to jump on? Harrison, Nelson, any of you guys? Go ahead, Nelson. You're on mute, mate.
Sorry. Yeah. First of all, congratulations. I think the question from me is to Mick Byrne. Pulling such a diverse group of players, everyone's got different experience. Has there been a concerted effort early on to build cohesion, or has it been straight into the business of playing footy?
There's a little bit of both. Obviously, we spent a lot of time getting to know each other. We spent a good amount of time before Christmas just getting each other's thoughts around what was important for us and what we thought about the way we should behave and the way we'd like to be perceived by people, you know, just the sort of cultural aspects of what we're doing, and sticking very closely to, you know, the culture that we bring individually. And then, you know, bringing that out onto the field and respecting each other's growth through this. And then with our rugby is just being able to allow our players to find their own way into it initially, and set some ideas around how we want to play, but then just allowing our players to feel comfortable in expressing themselves as we go through. It's it is a difficult task to bring a team of 39 individuals from all around the world, predominantly Fijian Islands, back into together. But what we've been able to do, because of the willingness of everyone to buy into what we're doing, is we've got into a pretty good place in a short period of time. So yeah, it's been difficult, as probably people are alluding to, but it's been great because of the energy that the players have brought in to be part of it and to create their own Inaugural team.
Well, good. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Nelson. Anyone else? And while we line up the next question, Nemani, if I come back to you, you played in England, played in France. What's the difference between that part of the world and preparing for a competition like Super Rugby here?
Well, the first one is cold, the weather, and
so it's better here.
So I think just the way the game's played over there, and things are a lot different than Super Rugby. It's a faster pace. Game is a lot faster. In England and France, it's more structured. So we don't really express ourselves. I like it. I like the setup we have here, and I think with the talent we have, I think we'll really do well there.
Okay, all right. Harrison, you're up.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. My question's for Mick, and it's just you've obviously spent a long time now as an assistant coach, particularly as a skills coach and a forward coach. What's been the biggest challenge for yourself moving up to a head coaching role, particularly setting up a new side?
There's been a lot of challenges, and I don't want to start listing them because there's a few, but it's been great having the support. I think the biggest thing for me is to ensure that I let the people around me have their growth and do their work as well, because it's something, as you say, the experience I've had has been really hands-on. And, I think early on in the first few weeks was just a matter of me growing and allowing the coaches their room and working through that, which, I found, a challenge, but, it's just like any challenge, you accept it and grow with it. But yeah, I think there, like on field, the rugby stuff has been great. Off the field, there's a few more conversations you have that you don't normally have in the roles that I've been in. So, which I'm not shying away from and actually enjoying that part of it. That's why that's why I've always been enthusiastic around getting a head coaching role, to buy into that and have a bit more control over the environment we're in, and make better decisions. So yeah, I'm enjoying that part as well.
Thanks.
All right, cool. Sam Wykes, do you want to have a go?
Yeah, no worries. Bulla lads. Nemani, congrats, mate, on being captain. I was thinking, is there added pressure, I guess, to the playing group, representing, I guess, Fiji every week in, week out in Super Rugby? I know it's not a one-off test match. I understand it's not the Fijian national team, but, I feel like, is there more of a responsibility, added pressure to be able to represent your people every week?
Yeah, I think it is. We have a rugby crazy nation back at home, and people love their rugby. For us to be here, the first ever Fijian rugby side, I mean, they expect us to do well. And that's, I think, yes, there is pressure, and just for us, just focusing on our roles, doing the things we do well every day, prepare well, of course, and then let the results speak of themselves. Yeah.
Nice. And Mick, just on the style that you guys are going to bring to the Super Rugby, everyone knows that the Fijians can entertain and can attack from anywhere. Is that what we'll see a lot throughout the competition, or have you had to sort of get that, make sure there's that game management side of things around set piece, exiting and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a great point, Sam. I think one of the key things for us is to make sure that those parts of the game that we desperately need to make sure we've got right, our exiting, and those types of things are good, and we're putting in place is the way we want to do it. But the big thing is like going through the way the game's played these days. Potentially there's 60% of the game's played the way you thought it was going to be played, and 40% of the game is off the cuff. We've got to play. So I think we might have the 40% covered. So we just got to make sure we look after the 60% and get that right. And so our exits and our defence and our roles and our role clarity is really important. So if we do happen to pick the ball up on turnover or there's an opportunity on counter, then far be it for me to tell these guys how to play with that ball. But I'll make sure that we're able to get ourselves out of positions that we might find ourselves in, our exits and places like that. So yeah, it's a good point. It's going to be a good mix, but I want to make sure that the players understand the times to be that and the times to just stick to what we need to do and look after the ball and respect the opposition.
Beauty. Cheers, lads.
Thanks, Sam. All right. Next question, please. We're coming up to about 2 more minutes left on the Q&A, folks. Mike, you go ahead. Since no one else is coming forward, you go ahead.
All right, thank you, Shane. Just one for Nemani. It's Mr. Nagusa that totally different since the days of sevens, shy. Now I'm looking at a confident captain. Just what's going through you right now for the team for Fiji as the captain, as being an asker? What's inside you right now before you lead the team in the 2 tries plus February 18th first match?
Be honest, when I was called up to lead the team, really nervous. But I know there's a responsibility for me, especially with a lot of young players. So for me, it's just leading them and giving them confidence to go to the competition and not feel shy or hold back anything. Just to give it their all and work hard. Because I know people back at home are looking forward to this competition and ready for us to go and wanting us to do well. So for me, it's just leading the team and encouraging them to be themselves and not feel shy to express themselves in the rugby field.
Mick, there's a question from the floor about the final 3 spots on the roster that'll be filled up and announced fairly early next week. But I think the question over there is, how do you plan to assimilate the final 3 spots on the roster into the squad?
Yeah, we're just in the process of finalising those. There'll be an announcement next week that will clarify that situation. And yeah, they'll just come in, they'll slot in. We've got a day 1, week 1, week 2 plan that we'll bring everybody in, so we know where they're all at, where they've come from. We've got little testings and processes, and we'll assimilate them into the program exactly like we've done with everybody. So there'll be no rushing anybody in to get ready for that first game. They'll go through their processes. We'll do that work and we'll assimilate them into the group probably after about 7 or 8 days.
Okay. All right. If there are no further questions, what I might just ask Nemani to do is just a message in Ethiopia to your family, to the fans back at home on such a significant occasion, how you feel.
Untuk mula pernah kami nonton, na wabna tacu na kalu na single na niko ni me sulcu biar untuk na tabilebu, kami kaya bagi semua kapten takana nontu mata tim ini Drua. Na baginggo na bagini shot ni Super Rugby, wabna takana kalu, wabna takana Vito Koni, nunggu mata bubal mi bici, wabna takana be masulaki, kerana rumah tu bal takana tu nabu ni Doru. na baliu na vito koni chiko na bewal ngangkata ki chiko kira ngi toman singa na vi maslaki na vito koni na vita na mada tunggo mati kitu seperti lo kawan na 3 season kitu ngandap sarwalew numni vito koni kira numni vi maslaki kawan na tatal singa na vito koni na baliu.
Okay, Naka Nemani. And last word from our CEO just on the upcoming match and the audacious goals that we have. So, Brian, please, you have the final word. And thanks for everyone who's joined us this morning.
Vinaka, Shane, I think on the field, Mick and the coaching team, Nemani and the playing group are working hard and very focused on optimal preparation for both the trials and the first game on the 18th of February. Between now and the 18th of February, the team off the field is going to be working very hard to get as many Fijian fans supporting the team and being there when they run out. So that's a key focus for us, and we'll keep driving that message in the next 5 weeks to make sure that there's a representation in the crowd of the enormous support that exists in Fiji. We're looking forward to playing many more games in Fiji next year than we've been allowed to so far. We're grateful for Rugby Australia and all of the Australian, and for that matter, New Zealand Rugby's support of what we've been doing and getting the team ready. But we're really looking forward to having as many Fijian fans flock to that game on the 18th of February as we possibly can. Thanks again to members of the media. Congratulations again to Nemani. Well done to Mick and his team on an inspired choice. And Bula Vinaka to everybody today. Vinaka Vakalevu.
All right, well, that's all, folks. Thanks so much. Recording of this Zoom will be available, and I'll also send out to anyone interested a pack of assets and links for videos and photos of the team in training if you wish to use those. So thanks so much, and we'll see you later. Naka.